Starting now. Hello, I'm Danielle Leone,
Hello, my name is Christian Caro Cruz.
Hello, my name is Knowles Moore.
Hi, I'm Joseph Sacco.
Hello, my name is Alexandria DeLeon.
and this is our project for Capstone 2, Fish Trap, which is a fishing education educator and analyzer. To begin, today, the internet is deeply integrated into our everyday lives, as it has used for work, school, shopping, communication, everything. But as our dependence on digital systems grows, so does the risk of cybercrime. One of the most common and fastest spreading is phishing. Phishing is crazy easy to execute and is becoming even more dangerous with the rise of advanced AI tools and can generate more convincing scams in seconds. Let's look at the data. In April 2024, the FBI released its Internet Crime Report for 2023. They received over 880,000 complaints of online crimes. Out of those crimes, 34% were phishing related. That's about 298,000 reported phishing attempts. And keep in mind, this only includes incidents reported to the FBI. The real number is likely much higher. To make matters worse, according to KeepNet Labs, only 3% of employees in an organization report phishing emails to the proper channels. That means the majority of phishing threats go unnoticed, unreported, and potentially successful. So clearly, there's a major gap, not just in preventing phishing, but in also how we respond to it. To better understand where phishing threats are more concentrated, we can look at real-time data provided by OpenFish, a trusted threat intelligence platform. OpenFish tracks and categorizes phishing campaigns across the web, revealing the industries most frequently targeted by attackers. The data shows that phishing campaigns are often highly tailored, not just to sectors, but to specific brands and the types of emails their employees or customers expect to receive. This makes the attacks feel more legitimate and harder to detect. One area that's been particularly under fire is the crypto sector. With the continued buzz around cryptocurrency and decentralized finance, phishing and even smishing, that's phishing via SMS, are increasingly targeting crypto users. Attackers know there's money and urgency involved, making it a prime target. What this tells us is that phishing isn't just a blanket threat, it's evolving, becoming smarter, more targeted, and more context aware. And that makes education and rapid reporting even more critical.
All right, so going off of what Danielle was saying, here are some solutions as to some phishing scams and how to protect yourself from it. So to protect yourself from phishing scams, it's important to stay alert and follow good cybersecurity practices. So to stay protected from these email threats, it's important to always be cautious when receiving unexpected emails that contain urgent requests, which include suspicious links as well. And overall, if you're unsure if the email is a trusted source. So links that might have a sort of subtle misspelling could potentially be a way that attackers can catch a victim. So overall, it's important to always keep your devices secure and your security software always up to date. So the risk and so the risk of these threats and vulnerabilities are much less to worry about. And here in the slide on the right side, we have an example of what a phishing email could look like um, in a picture. So yeah, in the next slide. Now let's talk about how the current systems that are out there help users detect and understand phishing and where they fall short. So if you want to check whether a URL is safe, there are plenty of online link scanners available. They'll typically tell you whether a link is safe or malicious. But that's about it. If you want to dig deeper into this understanding and why it's unsafe or what indicators triggered the flag, most platforms don't provide that level of detail. Plus, some of them have a clunky or confusing user interface, making it hard for everyday users to navigate. So when it comes to phishing emails, there's even less. Most services just let you report the suspicious emails, and that's where the interaction ends. There's no follow-up, no breakdown of the threat, and certainly no education or tips to help users recognize similar attacks in the future. So, and speaking of education, while there's a lot of good information out there on phishing awareness, it's spread out across other different platforms. You might find a blog here and a course there, maybe a checklist on another site. It's not centralized and it often lacks a cohesive or engaging learning experience. So overall, the current tools are scattered, passive, and not very user-friendly. That's the gap we're aiming to close with our system. So in our system, our solution brings everything together in one streamlined, user-friendly platform. Instead of bouncing between multiple sites, tools, and blogs, users can handle phishing detection and education all in one place. So we offer three core features. First, our URL scan tool delivers a clean, easy to understand index by pulling from multiple trusted resources. This helps users get a more accurate and well-rounded verdict on whether a link is safe or suspicious and understand why. So secondly, our email scan feature gives users flexibility. They can connect their email account directly or simply copy and paste a suspicious email. From there, our system analyzes the content and provides the same detailed breakdown, helping users know exactly what they're looking for and whether it's a threat. So, and finally, we have a dedicated education section. This isn't just a collection of scattered articles, it's a centralized hub where users can learn the basics of phishing, how to spot red flags, and best practices for staying safe online. So altogether, our platform is built to not only detect phishing, but to empower users to understand and avoid it.
Hello, everybody. This slide gives a quick overview of how the software actually works behind the scenes. First, if a user pastes in a suspicious URL, our script URL scan grabs it and sends a post request to either Google Safe Browsing or VirusTotal, depending on what the user has selected. It then immediately sends a GET request to pull the scan report, and that result is sent back and shown to the user right on the interface. Next, if the user pastes in a suspicious email from their inbox, we pass it through Google Gemini. Gemini analyzes the content using our custom prompt and returns a response that gets displayed in the user in plain language. This helps the user better understand if the message is trying to trick them without needing to be so tech savvy. Lastly, if the user chooses to link their Gmail account, we connect through IMAP using a secure request. That allows us to fetch a list of emails directly and let them pick which ones to scan or review. So overall, each part of the system is focused on making phishing detection fast, automated, and easy for anyone to use. Now going on to URL analysis. This is the section of our phishing detection tool focused on URL scanning. Users can paste in any link they're unsure about, maybe from a sketchy email or message. We give them a drop-down to choose how they want to scan it. They can use VirusTotal, Google Safe Browsing, or a custom combo called FishTrap. FishTrap cross-references both APIs at once to give more accurate results and minimize false negatives. Once they hit scan, the backend handles the request and immediately returns a report whether the link is safe or suspicious. This helps users avoid falling for phishing links before they even click it. Going to the UI portal. Here we're showing some basic examples of the results users will get after scanning a link. The left side shows a link scanned through Google Safe Browsing. It also checks when the domain was created, since newly created domains often are a major red flag. The right side shows a scan from either VirusTotal or phishing trap combo. It breaks down things like how many engines flagged the URL for malware, phishing, or suspicious behavior. We built it to give users a clean summary so they don't have to interpret raw data. It's fast, simple, and lowers the risk of falling for phishing attacks. This adds a strong layer of protection for everyday users, especially for those who aren't tech savvy.
So, so this right here is just a basic little function. Exactly, we are getting the virus total and sending it. So right here, as you see, this is a function called scan URL. We connect to the virus total virustotal.com using the API, and we go specifically to the URL section, following their specific key types. We follow the headers, and then we post our response in order to get the scan request. So as you see on the bottom, that is just a simple function of how the UI is actually showing. So after the user hits scan, it then reports back to this function, sends the user the actual post request or get request. And then on to the next slide. This is the email analysis. So this is exactly how you are connecting to the inbox. So right now, this is a snippet showing just the basics of the code. So after we set the parameters, starting on the left side, we set the parameters of the username and the password. We move on to the actual request. So as you see, we start off by selecting the specific inbox we want. This is just the basic inbox, which is showing all standard mail as you would typically do on your Gmail or your Outlook. We then specify we are not looking for any criteria, so we state that as all. Next, we then create a list that holds actually all the email details. And then after that, it's just basic code. This is just for encoding and decoding the actual contents that the email actually holds. Following on to the right side, this is where the juicy stuff is. So this actually gets the email message. This is using the content on the right. So this is just basic stuff. We just follow in specific protocols, but we did add a little twist. For extra safety of our users, we have decided to not download any attachments. So if we do see an attachment, we will skip it. That's just for the safety for the users as of right now. After that, towards the bottom, you see that it's just the email details append section, which we take all of the data that we've taken from the email, append it to the list that we created before, and send it to Streamlit, which will be presented to the user.
This is the breakdown of what we have asked Gemini to structure the response as an easy-to-read response. As you can see, we specified that we want them to analyze keywords and sentences, check grammar and spelling, provide an overall analysis, express a final verdict, and then justify the final verdict. So this is basically the structure of which we want the response to be. And the next slide will show the example of a response and what the output is. So this is an example of a response provided by Gemini using the instructions we provided. As you can see, the first image shows the sample email and the second image shows the analysis Gemini provided, concluding that the email is suspicious and should be recognized as a phishing attack. So phishing continues to be one of the most prevalent and dangerous forms of cybercrime. It's easy to launch, hard to trace, and often successful due to lack of awareness. Our capstone project, PhishTrap, directly addresses this issue by combining phishing detection, user education, and ease of use into one unified platform. By leveraging tools like VirusTotal API and Google Safe Browsing, we provide users with clear, reliable analysis and suspicious URLs and emails. But we go a step further. PhishTrap is also a learning tool. We empower users with knowledge, updates, and practical advice so that they not only avoid phishing attacks, but also understand how to recognize and report them in the future. The goal is simple: reduce phishing attack incidents through education, accessibility, and innovation. And with that, that concludes the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.